we are casting some Age of Empires 4. And in this match, Hera is playing against Leenock. Now, if you're watching the previous match being streamed here, this is a rematch, but the civs are different. In fact, last game, Leenock was playing as the French, whereas Hera is this time. And this game, Leenock trying the Abbasid dynasty. A lot of players testing them out, testing the waters again with these guys. They have had some, at least minor buffs, and some people are saying they actually feel pretty nice to play with right now. The early stats indicate pretty good win rates for the Abbasid dynasty, but you have to figure anyone who is an Abbasid main, who is used to losing, will jump up a bit of elo, and so we should see them start to win a little more in the short term, and then things should even out overall. So we'll see how this affects this patch, as of a few days ago, affects the Abbasid dynasty play at the highest level, and that's why we're watching. So, Leenock, as Abbasid, we're going to keep an eye. So, House of Wisdom going down. We'll keep an eye on if and when he gets on stone. Now, this is Dry Arabia, so it is an open map and much more difficult to boom. So, if he does, you've got to expect the second town center will probably be pretty close to the first. You'll probably want to keep it pretty darn defensive. Hera, on the other hand, as the French, has all of that mobility, so we should probably expect to see some French knights. Who knows, maybe even professional scouts if he has the map control and thinks that is worth his while. Nothing too crazy here from the French player. Actually, I feel like Hera is doing a different build order. Normally he would have more on gold, but my guess now is that he's going to put something like 4 on gold. So gold being started quite a bit later, and now needs to make up for that. And then he'll have enough on gold that this will launch him into the feudal age with good gold income, in which case he can produce knights. So I'm calling it, that's my claim, that this is heavy knight production. We'll see if that ends up being right. Leenock really close to being able to age up here. So keep in mind, because these are upgrades, we can see how long they take. 1 minute and 45 seconds. So if he clicks up now. Okay, there he goes. So we should see him up at about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, which is a pretty solid age up time overall. And considering you don't need any villagers doing it, your villagers are continuing to collect resources in the meantime. Really quite good. This should set him up really nicely for the feudal age. Hera still working his way there. May have to go up with an extra villager. Yeah, 5 villagers on gold here. Is this a 6? Yeah, I feel like this... oh, okay, moving the 6 away. I feel like this has to be heavy knight production. Can now afford the feudal age. We'll see where he goes from here. Has 2 military, so presumably he did add an extra scout. Scouts passing each other here, inspecting each other's herds of sheep. This one coming home with a good number of them, 8 sheep. So Hera is pretty well set up for the next while on food. No issues there. May not even need a mill unless he needs it for upgrades like wheelbarrow, that kind of thing. House of Wisdom. So went up with the economic wing. We'll probably click fresh foodstuffs right away, but we'll have to see. I think in some ways this tech is overrated, particularly if you're going on 1TC. Remember, villagers are actually just cheap in this game in general. They make back, without any discount, they make back their cost in just over a minute. Something like 1:10, 1:12. So if you get that discount, it's like, great. They pay back what they're worth, you know, in 37 seconds. But how much of a benefit is that, really? All right, so Leenock here, 4 on gold. I'd love to see some camel archers. I've been doing some math for camel archers lately and trying to figure out, is there some way where they're viable, especially with horsemen being buffed now? So you can imagine horsemen, camel archer as a composition. Should be very strong against archer. Still very good against spearmen. And not too bad against knights. You could at least run away from them. Alright, so barracks almost finished here from Leenock. Interesting. So fresh foodstuffs is being researched by him. We'll keep an eye again on that stone. Hera getting a little close to that TC, but we'll get out just fine. School of Cavalry now finished for Hera. Welcome to the Feudal Age. And night production begins. So let's take a quick look at income per minute. 90. That seems low. 5 villagers? I figured that would be closer to 200. Maybe 160. Okay. Not too sure. We'll see what I missed. Archer range now for Hera and more night production. So straight night archer from him. Pretty hard to deal with, to be honest. French night archer is really nasty. Generally, the first knight comes out, freaks out your opponent, and they kind of know they have to go spearman anyway. And I've definitely seen Hera play with very early archers to make sure that pretty much the first spearmen that come out are already countered. Now, it looks like Leenock went for only 2 spearmen and then is already going for that hardened upgrade. So I do like that approach. I've seen people go for hardened first, and I think that's a mistake. You want a couple of spearmen out to dissuade your opponent from getting villager kills with their knights. Hera actually waiting a little bit. Wants to go in with 2 knights, maybe get that impactful kill. 2 lance attacks at 29 damage each is enough to kill a villager that does not have textiles. Right, so with textiles, formerly loom in AoE 2, villagers get 25 more hit points, bringing them up to 75, and making them quite a bit better at surviving attacks from knights. So we'll see if Leenock chooses to go that route. More spearmen coming out for him. Now, of course, hardened. Looks like, okay, those are the scouts. Spearmen are pretty much guarding his home base. Hera's just going to take this battle. This is by the way, this is a common thing to see in AoE 2. This is still an efficient battle for Hera. He lost some hit points on a knight. Oh, doesn't manage to hit the same villager, so no villager kills there for Hera. Knights do have to retreat for now, but keep in mind, there's no actual loss here yet for Hera. He has lost a little bit of momentum. He will have to get that back with reinforcements. And any archers that show up will pretty well clean up the spearmen of Leenock. So Hera needs to be careful. Hopefully he doesn't lose this knight for his sake. The knight does in fact go down. So first, real loss for Hera there. Driving away a scout of his opponent, knight chasing him away there. And do we see, so chivalry now coming in from Hera. Probably wished he didn't lose that knight. Wanted to keep it alive so it would start healing up over time. Lots of villager production here. So, interesting to see a top-level player have 6 villagers in the bank. It makes me wonder if there's a reason for that, or if he's just being extra careful, because knights eat so much food that you want to make sure that you don't have any hiccup in villager production because of that. Chivalry is now completed. Little green plus is indicating knights are healing. 1 per second. Scout hanging back a little bit. Leenock clearly knows this is coming, or has some sense that something you'll see with pro players is that they'll have this idea that, you know what, I might be getting flanked right now, and you'll see them sort of move units to a potential vulnerable area. So he's fully on top of this. We expect no damage here. Now, one thing you can do is run by with some units, and then have the second group of units come in and try to get some damage in. Unfortunately, for Hera, those are only scouts, so there won't be any villager kills here. But a second group of knights would definitely do it. Horsemen ranging forward for Leenock here. So many spearmen for Leenock. It makes me wonder if he's seen the archers, but he definitely has now. So I think Hera just has to be a little careful. Hera is about to click up to the castle age. He needs more gold here. So he's mostly avoiding engagements, just trying to keep his opponent on his back foot. May try to chase down these cavalry units if he has a chance to do so. These archers really just standing by here. I wouldn't mind seeing them a little farther forward, unless he thinks they're going to get jumped on by these horsemen and that his knights won't be able to save them. More horsemen now coming up for Leenock. So Leenock appears to be... so I didn't see it. Didn't see him get on stone, but we do see a second town center up for Leenock. So given that we haven't seen many villager kills, let's take a quick look at the economies. Leenock only behind by 1 villager. So given the French gap, we have to assume he's been producing at that second town center for about a minute now. And big battle here at the front of Hera's base. Hera mostly trying to get away without any villager kills. Deletes his structure here. I'm assuming that was a barracks, maybe? Didn't see what it was. For now, holding back Leenock, which is good for Hera. Yes, a mill is going down here for Hera, but, you know, he's working on this thing with 7 villagers. So Guildhall is coming up. Pretty soon he'll be on the Castle Age. Needs to keep his villagers alive, especially since his opponent will outnumber him villager-wise very shortly here. Archers just pushing back these spearmen. So Leenock not in a bad position here, but he needs to capitalize on his soon-to-be economic advantage here. And he's pretty close to clicking up to the Castle Age, which I like a lot. So these troops are keeping Hera home in his base, and that gives Leenock a lot of options. Market being added, wants to probably just sell a bit of wood and make sure he can get up to the next stage. Quickly enough, a couple more archery ranges being added. Let's keep following these troops here. Potential battle coming up. Leenock pushing right into Hera's base. Hera just pulling back. So, little bit of a stalemate here. Hera did reach Castle Age first, but he needs upgrades that make it worth the while. Royal Knights still not at veteran. Archers still not at veteran. So we have to see what makes this upgrade, this tier 3, worth it for Hera. There's got to be something he's doing or planning on doing. We see a blacksmith coming up now. Sorry if I'm clicking a lot. I'm just looking. Okay, so we now see veteran archer. We now see... There's no veteran royal knight upgrade coming in. So is this a transition fully away from knights? He only has 4. So he hasn't committed too heavily to knights thus far in the game. Leenock now doing a lot of walling. Knows his opponent got to age 3 first, and doesn't want to lose a whole bunch of villagers all of a sudden because he was sloppy. So keeping ahead of the game on that front. Hera could easily spot this out. Yeah, hasn't quite seen it yet. Currently going for the villagers on Leenock's gold. At least 1 going down, 2 villagers down. Let's get a stock take of... So 55 villagers, 47 for Leenock. And actually a larger army for Leenock as well. But keep in mind, a lot of them are spearmen, and they're hardened spearmen, so they're not age 3. But I expect score-wise things to level out nicely as soon as Leenock hits the Castle Age here. Hera currently has the Guildhall on food. Okay, Knights jumping on some spearmen. Looks like Hera thinks he can just take it. So again, one of these cases where if you don't have enough spears, Knights can still just kill you. And then they are up, right? These Knights will heal in time, so no loss from Hera. But he does force his opponent to feel like he has to keep producing spears. And he may not even be making Knights. Let's check back on that. He is making Knights again now. Trying to figure out what Hera is up to. Veteran Archers. Veteran Royal Knights. So he does have his Castle Age upgrades. Was a little slow in getting them. Leenock now with a ton of food in the bank. So that makes me wonder how he's going to spend that. Definitely needs to spend that if he wants to keep up with Hera here. Knights running in, going to try to get the kills in that they can. Oh, Mangonel shot. Hera dodges a lot of it, but still takes hits on about 5 of his archers. Knights run out the other side to safety, so they live to harass villagers for another day. Hera is all the way up here, using that map control he has to to set up mills, grab deer from around the map. Does take more hits, but oh, he's stuck here. He needs to be so careful. May lose more knights. Okay, another knight does go down, but in the meantime, look at the carnage here. That may even be worth it. Look at all the spearmen that have gone down. If enough of these... Oh, jeez. Okay, does have a single knight on top of the Mangonel. Mangonel so far being reasonably effective in driving Hera away, but weirdly, Hera's still getting so many kills here. These knights are almost a debate, and Hera's now trying to jump on top of these Mangonels, and the spearmen are so far out of position. I feel like Hera has outplayed Leenock here positionally. Leenock almost would have been better just deleting this wall and keeping his force in one place where Hera can't do anything about it. One goes down. Villagers are so good at repairing, but in the meantime, Hera is sniping spears. He's sniping villagers. Currently shooting at horsemen, which Leenock will want because they eat so many more shots. But the second Mangonel does go down. Hera is fully on top of Leenock now. This has swung so hard in the direction of Hera. 54 villagers for him, 60 for his opponent. So still is behind economically, but militarily, 29 for Hera and only 6 for Leenock. This is that situation where if you're watching this, if you're ever in this situation, you know you have a military lead, but not necessarily an economic one. Sit on their production buildings. And you can see him trying to put up more now, but it won't help him. He has to delete them. It won't help him if Hera sits right here, because every unit that pops out will just be shot down right away. So Leenock is in a very tough spot, continuing to lose more and more villagers, and didn't pull these villagers away in time. Wrong button here. Hera actually has a villager lead now by 3. This is looking so bad for Leenock, and I have to say, this is so well played from Hera. Positionally, I think he's totally outplayed Leenock in this game. I didn't expect that. 5 minutes ago, I couldn't tell what direction this was going in. Just because, yes, Hera hit Castle Age first, but I didn't see him really do anything with it. Nice Mangonel hit from Leenock. Hera does need to be careful about that, and the spears will drive Hera's knights away. So Hera fully pulling back, which does seem to be the right play at this stage. And again, if he finds this up here from Leenock, the game may very well be over. Tons of archers being produced here. Let's check the upgrades. Looks like the melee and ranged attack upgrades are in, but the armor upgrades are not. So Hera, we can see producing knights out of 2 different buildings, and currently only 1 archer in production, but I think he could ramp that up if he has the resources for it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a ram now. Does he have siege engineering? Doesn't have siege engineering yet. Keep in mind, this town center can go down quite a lot easier than the town center that is behind it, right? 2,400 hit points on this, 7,000 on his home TC. I'm not sure what Leenock should be doing here. I didn't see all these knights up here. And the archers may even find villagers up top. Leenock is so cheeky to get away with that mill up there. Knights just generally causing trouble. I think Leenock should even consider a 3rd town center. Get on stone, get back the villager lead, because he's definitely lost it now. 62 for him. 48 for him and 62 for Hera. So that is a significant lead for Hera at this point. Fresh foodstuffs is in, actually getting agriculture, so his villagers' farming rate, gather rate will be increased. So we should expect to see quite a few farms up any minute now, but I'm not seeing any just yet, so maybe a little premature. And Hera finds it. Oh, this looks so bad now. Can he even get to the outpost? Does get some villagers to it. Doesn't even get all 5 in. The knights are going to take this down pretty quickly. Hera will be totally happy to lose even, 4 archers to kill these 4 villagers. It just cements his lead so strongly, and he's kept up with military production. 46 to 39. So actually, Leenock maybe has enough military now to assert himself, but villager-wise, Hera is 50% ahead of him. Not too good at all. It's all over the map here. Look, using this map control so well is Hera. So well. And this army is so mean now at the front of Leenock's base. Let's try to figure out, what does Leenock actually have to deal with this? He has veteran spearmen. Looks like he's been adding crossbows to deal with the knights of his opponent. Where is the rest of the military? I mean, allegedly he has 41 troops. Well, definitely can't account for all of them. There's 13 of them. Now, if that's supply, then each of these mangonels should count as more than one. So that is also a possibility. If that's his army, I mean, he's pretty doomed. Three Knights, Lancers here. Not that it matters. Do catch Hera's villagers out. So Hera will have to deal with this. And you see he's proactively pulling these villas away as well. So all these villagers are now at risk. Hera comes in, does attack the right Lancer, but is going to lose knights in this process. Really what matters is he slows down the carnage on his own back line here. He needs to make sure that, you know, two knights can't really do that much. Especially two knights against two knights. Oh, this knight not going in the right direction here. Knights may end up killing more villagers. Hera now, though, is pushing in, and look at the size of this force. Yeah, just taking this battle. Knights absolutely pummeling the siege. Villagers trying to repair it, I think. That's why the Springald stayed up so long. Spearmen now coming in, but any moment, and this is a bit of a kill zone with those spearmen, but Hera's going to target them. They will not last very long at all. Killing the crossbowmen now here as well. So Hera's taken losses, but there are just not enough crossbows to do anything about this. Yeah, and that's that. Leenock calls it. He knows this one's over. Folks, this was such a good game from Hera. Just the positional, I think the battle that happened around here, where he drew his opponent's spearmen in this direction, and then ended up putting pressure here and taking out the siege. That was, for me, the turning point of this game. I think it was extremely even before that, and potentially even favored toward Leenock with that economic lead. If you enjoyed this one, folks, like and subscribe. It helps me out quite a bit. This has been Paragon RG. Stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you next time.